I've been seeing a lot of great shots of Shooty Gotwell lately from his latest stuff, and it's nice to see he's out and about. He's moving on, and RT, of course, still filling the public with he doesn't know anything. He's in charge of the show and doesn't know anything about it. That's up to the BBC and Disney. Folks, why would there be negotiations? If things are going well, why are there still negotiations going on? Now, I try to be optimistic about these things, I truly do. But when I sit back and I think back on the last couple series and characters who just didn't need to be there for no reason other than to be there. And now I'm starting to wonder why, oh, goodness gracious. I'm sorry, my brain's just blanking. I'm trying to figure out why Mrs. Flood was even there through the whole damn series. Because what was the real payoff on that? It's another by generation. It's almost like Goofy was running the show. I don't know why they don't just hand it over. I'm like, he'll. Hey, Mickey, let's just throw some completely unnecessary characters in there. Okay, Goofy. Oh, God, I almost said a bad word there. Then, of course, we had to have Rose Noble there for no reason at all. And the more I sit back and I think back on this character, and I'm not blaming the actor or actress, Yasmin Finney. Screw it, I'm rubbish with this politically correct horse shit. Sorry, but I'm like, why was that character even there? Other than, like I said, it's kind of sad though when you begin to see things the way total weirdos do. But now I hate to say it, but in some categories, and they're very slim, I'm starting to see, like I said, I'm not seeing top secret hidden messaging. I'm just seeing characters that didn't belong and whole concepts that people thought Chibnall was ridiculous for the timeless children. And then also we have by generation because I don't want to kill David Tennant again. No, he's going to go off and live a happy life with the nobles. And just completely forgetting, oh God. And then of course, Susan popping up for the first time in literally, half a century. And then, of course, they dropped the ball on that one because they changed the ending around. And I'm glad they changed the ending around because it would have been far worse. I know, it's just upsetting to me. But then again, we live in a world where people are seeing literally, are seeing top secret hidden messages about Nazi, geneticism and all that in their blue jean ads. Oh, I'm not kidding. It's just we live in a crazy world. Yes, we do. And it's sad too because now I'm starting to see, weird shit the more I look at it. I think other than real Rose giving, Rose's, I think, biggest moment in that entire series was asking about what the Meep's pronouns were. And it's not exactly a grand moment. Oh well. Talking about by generation. I'm surprised nobody has done a song out of that yet. At least an AI version. Time Lord splitting in half, talking about by generation, talking about by generation. Oh. And I truly do try to remain optimistic, but like I said, nobody's heard nothing. Nobody's heard anything legitimate about any actual negotiations going on. Like I said, I've only heard a couple different stories, and so far, like I said, I have nothing to back those up. I'd like some proof. I'd like some De Niro. I want some actual, credo on the table. I want to see, if this actually happened or not. And I'm loving how, certain people are out there doing ads for their new, Whovians channel. And I'm like, yeah, where was this person back during the Chibnall era? They just magically disappeared, probably because their show got canned. And now all of a sudden they're a fan again. See, that's what I mean. I don't think there's a show to negotiate over. And yet they've got everybody going on and on about, well, we won't know until after War Between the Land and the Sea airs. War Between the Land and the Sea is a spin-off of that show. If it does well or not, it does not mean you have a status on the current main show. Trust me, folks. Oh, man. Yep. That certain person, is still around, and now they're doing an ad for something called the Whovians thing. And I'm like, yeah, where were you during the Chibnall era? When we had a female doctor, and you should have been supporting her. No, you took off because your certain fan show got canned. I'm not kidding. She keeps turning up like a bad case of herpes. Ugh. Yeah, dedicated fan. Yeah, where were you for those years? Yeah, the 1.5 speed pretty much put the nail in the coffin as far as that was concerned. Because I'm like, really? You just said that and had that quoted? All I know is somebody's kissing the right butts and, shall we say, tonguing the right starfishes. Kiss up that crack, they'll bring you right back. Okay. Meanwhile, I think, I'm agreeing with you, Saeed. I think the show's been shelved and they just don't want to come out and say it. Because we should have had something by now. We should have at least had a solid, RTD's already picking out another project. Shooty, of course, is gone. And like you just said, the producers are moving on. I knew we were starting to get into we're in trouble territory when the guys who did Unleashed were already advertising their services. But I'm like, okay, maybe they're just trying to find something to do, while the show's off air, until, they get called back. And nope. I know at the same time, I think, I'm starting to agree with you. Maybe the show does need to have a rest. Because the thing was this. We all knew, like I said, I don't want to say anything bad about Rusty, but we all knew he was burned out after Miracle Day. Because when you see the plot and the way call it and the whole resolution of Miracle Day for Torchwood, it was like, huh? So because they fired some of Jack's blood, and his immortality has literally nothing to do with his genetic makeup whatsoever, into a giant colossal space vagina that runs through the center of the planet that nobody knew was there before, that everything got flip-flopped. The whole time-space continuum got flip-flopped. And morphic fields and yada, yada, yada. Folks, and then, of course, like I said, the woman getting cubed in the car, and you can see the eyes still moving around. Really? Oh, okay. Oh, looky, there's a troll. Heidi! I don't know. What are you looking for in a man? I'm married. I don't look either way. All right. Yeah, 1989 too, the sequel. Oh. Like I said, there were some pretty great episodes during Shooty's era, but, like I said, I got a laugh out of Space Babies, but I agree with everybody. It shouldn't have been a series leader. You shouldn't have led in, with that. And like I said, the complete waste of Mrs. Flood, the Ronnie, and all that. It's like, well, and then he tries to talk about it in the media, like, well, the Ronnie wanted to bring up the Time Lords and Omega as an experiment. That's not how the Ronnie worked. I'm beginning to think they're hoping it'll slowly fade away. And it's like, they're kind of putting it off. They're slapping a Band-Aid on an arterial bleed. Because especially when sorry about that. I was just trying to check out the top here. I can see better small things without my glasses than I can with them, okay? Because I'm nearsighted. But I think, they're hoping to put a patch on it, and then after War Between the Land and the Sea airs, of course, it's going to go back to a fever pitch. Where's the main show? And they're kind of hoping like they can just look at the media and go, what main show? There was a main show? No. Plus, all the missed opportunities. You mentioned Sarah Jane's going, meanwhile, you could have done another spinoff with one of the other companions. And they were all so willing to do it. Like I said, there were complications with Sophie because Sophie, of course, has moved on. Sophie Aldred. And, of course, she has, kids now, and plus she's teaching and things like that. So it would have thrown a big spanner, I think, in her life schedule. But I don't think she would have disagreed with doing something on and off like that, or a spinoff or something like that. Or... Plus, you had Mel showing back up. I know Nicola Bryant would probably have to do something because, hell, she even did that. She did a role in the one of the Star Trek fan shows. What was that? New Voyage? It was the one with. It was Vic Mignogna's vehicle. Sorry. Phase 2, aka New Voyages, was James Cawley. I don't know why, but when I think James Cawley, my brain wants to say Jim Carrey. So, and then, of course, there was the one under Vic Mignogna. And I forget the name right now. It'll hit me in like a half hour when it doesn't matter. But yeah, she did a thing of that. Colin Baker did a thing of that as well. And, besides, they're in trouble anyway over there on that new Star Trek series because they're already talking about doing a Muppet episode. A Muppet episode. Where everybody's turned into Muppets. Alright? They did something like that on Angel, if I remember correctly. But... Well, the problem is Bad Wolf technically didn't have their hands on Doctor Who. They were partnered with the BBC. The BBC will never give up the rights to Doctor Who. If the BBC were a person, you would literally have to pry Doctor Who out of its cold, dead hands, okay? Before you got your hands on the rights to Doctor Who. So it's not going to be, you're not going to see any big handing over or anything like that. They're going to want to have their fingers in that pie no matter what. But what gets me is this. I don't know. It's just with the way the last couple series went, I was hopeful that maybe Amazon or even Netflix or something, talk to one of them if Disney Plus is off the table. But would they even want to touch it at this point? And even if they did touch it, would they want to try to do a soft reboot of it? Which you can't do with Doctor Who, really. I died laughing as I watched the reaction thing last night of someone was doing a reaction of Night of the Doctor. And of course, Paul McGann pops up like, who's that? Google it! As Peter, as the 12th Doctor would say. And there's some great footage of Peter Capaldi. He's having an amazing time, by the way, out doing music. He seems to be having a lot of fun with the audience as well as performing and all that. I put a clip of that up that I shared from Instagram over onto the... Yeah, go look up Pete Capaldi's... I think it's PD Capaldi or something like that it's under, but he has an Instagram page. Yeah, just do a search. You should find it. And he's been putting up some really, really good stuff, from his, playing and all that. And he seems to be really, really enjoying it. especially after the way some of the fandom treated him. He's too old. Oh, God. Trust me, if we ever perfected the telekinetic head slap, there's quite a few people I wanted to reach mentally through my screen and go, flap. Okay. Well, folks, I just looked at the time. It is time for me to go in, and look where I'm parked today. Ooh. Somebody was slow on the uptake today, so I get to park over here instead of trying to mash into that group over there. Okay, so it's Monday. Keep in mind, it's the beginning of another week. So try to remember, as always, be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy your week. I know Monday sucks, but we'll get through it. So take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll hopefully see you all again tomorrow.